Our values and fears are connected. Our fears about the downsides of the other value are most often what leads us to neglect and avoid that complementary and critical opposite value. Understandable? Yes. A good idea? No. Avoiding a value in a pair leads to problems and downsides associated with both values. As someone involved in the creation and application of technology, you have an extra responsibility to understand your values and the relationship it shares with complementary opposite values. By doing this, you get more of what you want from your privileged value, and others get more of their values, leading to benefit for all. Let's consider an example. Let's say that I personally naturally value efficient systems over adaptable systems. I typically value the upsides associated with efficient systems, like they make good use of resources, and you can have satisfied teams because they know how to contribute. And I fear the potential downsides of adaptive systems, like problems can remain unsolved due to chaos and disruption, and teams can be frustrated due to constant change. Meanwhile, I probably have colleagues who value adaptable systems. They typically value the upsides associated with adaptable systems, like the ability to find new opportunities and approaches, and how it excites and energizes a team as they explore new ideas. And they typically fear the potential downsides of efficient systems, like the risk of failing to adapt and take advantage of changes, and the team being bored and unengaged because they're repeating a predictable process. Ultimately, both my and my colleagues' deeper fear is failure of the initiative we're working on and a frustrated team, which is exactly what we tend to get when we engage in either or tug of war. Conversely, when we are able to find both end paths forward, we are able to achieve our shared greater hope of a successful initiative and an engaged team. Our personal values don't exist in a vacuum. They are formed by and interact with our environments, and there's interplay between different levels. For example, let's extend our example of efficient systems and adaptable systems. Efficient systems tend to make sense in contexts of stability, whereas adaptable systems do better in contexts of change. So let's consider the more fundamental polarity of stability and change at different levels. At a societal level, overarching paradigms shift over time, resulting in periods of calm and stability, often followed by periods of more revolutionary change. At a community level, you might consider if you live in a country or region that places greater value on tradition and stability, for example, famously Amish communities, versus a community or region that values disruptive change, for example, famously Silicon Valley. At an organizational level, it's easy to imagine how, say, a nuclear power company and a social media startup are likely to have very different cultures around stability and change, and for very good reasons. Personally, are you drawn to disruptive startup work with constant change that requires significant personal adaptability? Or perhaps a role in government helping to ensure stability while efficiently evolving the superstructures of society? You can even look intrapersonally. Imagine you wind up in a space that aligns with your dominant value of embracing change. There will probably be days when a part of you craves a bit more stability, or vice versa. Almost as if different parts of you value different things. To help visualize this, you can think of the Pixar movie Inside Out. Notice that the way we think and talk about value tensions at different levels is typically different. But from this example, you can get a sense of the natural interplay and influence that happens between levels. This shines a light on the necessity for tech stewards to not only be aware of our own values, but also the dominant values in the various communities of which we are members.